Hey guys, welcome to today's lesson. It's been a while. Yeah, in today's lesson we're going to build or look at how to clone the front end for a swap exchange, a swap DEX. In a previous tutorial we looked at cloning all the smart contracts, and everybody has been asking if we can make a front end for it. Unfortunately, the tutorial we made earlier was for bakery swap, and then bakery swap, the front end for bakery swap is currently not open source. And even Pancakeswap, the front end for Pancakeswap is also not completely open source. So Pancakeswap has version 1 and version 2. In version 1, version 1 is open source, but only supports the version 1 of their smart contracts, not the version 2, which we cloned. But the version 2 is closed source. So luckily for us, not a boomer, most of the swaps all work with the same smart contracts behind the scenes. So if you clone one, you find out how to connect it to the right smart contract, then you can use any swap interface for your smart contracts. So today we're going to be using the Pancakeswap a modification of the open source version that somebody has done. It's there in GitHub. I'm going to post the link in the description for this video, and you can use them to connect to any of the swap smart contracts that you build. So whether you cloned the smart contracts of Pancakeswap or Bakery Swap or even of Uniswap, you can actually use them. And of course, there are a couple of other things that you need to do. You need to make sure that if you're cloning it, you can, just stay on the Binance Smart Chain, and this contract will work on the Binance. This front end will work with the smart contracts that you deploy to the Binance Smart Chain. So if you deployed your smart contracts to Ethereum, then when you deploy this, you have to make sure that you move everything that is Binance Smart Chain related and make sure that you stay on Ethereum. So you can do all that. Later we'll look at this. You'll find where they connect, where they specify the chain IDs and all that. So basically, a lot of AMM DEXs, especially the popular ones, they work on EVM compatible blockchains, so they are all interchangeable. SushiSwap, clone of Uniswap, now supports multi-chain with almost the same set of contracts, right? So, but then a lot of front ends now go ahead and implement so many other things. So you look at farming, Pancakeswap has lotteries, SushiSwap has the bento box. There are different other features that they've implemented, and a lot of them are not necessarily open source. So you might need to actually write the Solidity smart contracts for that, and then deploy your own front end for that. But today we're just going to concentrate on the swap and the liquidity aspects of your AMM DEX. So again, the smart contracts we're going to be using, there's a tutorial I did for how to clone the smart contracts. So you can just change those smart contracts, change the names and all that, leave the code the way they are, leave the functions the way they are, and deploy them to whichever chain you want to use. In this case, the Binance Smart Chain, and then you get the addresses, and we will need the addresses for what we want to do here today. So again, like I explained earlier, the Pancakeswap. So Pancakeswap did not expose the front end for version 2, but not to worry. I found someone who has been able to clone the version 1 and connect it to the version 2 routers and factory. So we're going to use the fork that guy did. Again, I'll add the links to the repositories to the description in this video. And here I will stop and ask you, if you've been enjoying this video, please subscribe, click on the subscribe button below and just subscribe. All right. So let's start by so I found this guy who has majorly cloned the exchange and the contracts, the test nets. I think he even has a fork here for the farm, but I've not checked that out. But he has cloned the SDK and then the exchange. And one thing you even have to be conscious of is the fact that the SDK version that works with, if you are cloning the Pancakeswap interface itself, like I said, it only works with version 1 of their router, and then it only works with version 0.27 of the Pancakeswap SDK itself. So which is quite limiting, because you have to go back and find the 0.27 version of the Pancakeswap SDK and the UI toolkit, the UI toolkits. You have to go find the 0.27 version, get that, connect it to the Pancakeswap interface itself, and get the correct version of the library. So everything, the Pancakeswap frontend is divided into 3. It has a front end, it has a library, which is deployed to an npm package on its own, and then it has a UI kit. So all 3 of them work together, and if you are going to clone them, they have to work with the right versions. If you use the wrong versions, it will not work. So, but not to worry, I found this guy who has done that, forked all those repositories, and then created a version that we can now use and just deploy and then use as a base to start working. So again, it's going to focus on majorly the swap, and then the pool, providing liquidity. So let's go ahead to clone each of the repositories. So just use any of your favorite Git CLI tool. Clone the exchange, the interface, the front end, the swap interface here. All right, then I'm going to go ahead to go to the UI kit repository. Okay, the swap repository. Clone that also. And once that's done, finally, I just go ahead to clone the UI kit repository. Yeah, that's it. We have all 3 repositories now. So the Pancakeswap frontend was built in React.js, which means that you need a couple of tools on your development system to be able to run the React.js applications. So first, you will need to download and install Node.js. In case this is your first time doing this, if you already run Truffle to clone the contracts, I'm sure you already have Node installed. But you can just go ahead, go to nodejs.org, the download part, and you can download Node depending on your operating system. You can choose whichever one of these to download, and it will install Node for you and install npm, which is the package manager for Node. Now once you do that, there are a couple of other tools that you need to have installed. You're going to need typescript installed, you're going to need lerna, rollup, then you're going to need yarn, YARN. So but basically you can just install all of that with a command. Just do npm install with a global switch, and put in yarn, lerna, typescript, rollup, and then just press enter. So this command I'm going to leave in the description. It will install for you all these tools so that you're ready to go. I already have all this installed, so I'm going to skip this. But once you have all that set up, then you're ready to go and actually start programming and doing the front-end work. So once you have all that, the next thing is to open the project. You can open it in Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to go ahead, let's open that, and I'm going to have the 3 here. Let me close this. Okay, so I have the 3 projects that are cloned here now. So I can then go just open this in the terminal. So this is the toolkit, which is like your UI kit for the project. You can see the README here. It's a UI kit, and in the UI kit, Pancakeswap uses some components, some front-end components, which they've all packaged together as an NPM library on its own. And this is just a clone of that. So in this UI kit is where you can come and change branding colors, you can change the logos and all that, and the fonts and all that. So if you come here, you can see different components all here. You can go to the widgets, the menu. If you want to change the logo, for example, you can go to other. But first of all, as is the case with most node-based projects, you will need to install all the packages that are attached to this project. So I'm just going to go here and run yarn so that it installs all of that. Okay, so I already have all the packages installed, so that's fine, right? So I'm going to do that the same for all the others. Just run yarn. Okay, already up to date also. So I have all my no modules, is setting them up right now. Okay, so that's installed. So let's go back to the UI toolkit. Okay. Okay, let's go to the testnet first. Look at the scripts. Okay, this is testnet. So to run, just do yarn start. Okay, so if you get this error, let me see how to fix it. Alright, so if you get that error, that's just due to a duplicated import. So just move uSpring to here and comment this out and then save. Let's see. Okay, so that's fine. This is a warning. So yeah, this should be running now, usually on port 3000. So we can go to our browser. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, this is running. Yeah, nice. Okay. So yeah, this is good. So a couple of things that you will now need to do. First, you might want to change the logo, and then you could change all the maybe some colors and all that. But more importantly, you need to wire this to connect to your own version of the routers and the factory that we deployed, right? So how do we do that? We go back to the code. I'm going to close this. Okay, so first let's see. So if we come to the code, hold on. So let's try the logo first. So to change the logo, go to the toolkit, right? Go to the UI kit. And go to widgets, go to menu, icons, and then somewhere there you see the logo. So if you want to change the logo, you can easily replace that by just replacing this SVG. With another SVG. So basically this SVG needs to be replaced. Could replace this and this with another SVG. What do we do? Let's see if we could get an SVG file somewhere. Okay, so okay, since there's a base64 image here, what we can do is maybe look for a base64 converter. So I use this online converter to convert the image to base64 selector. Then I just copy this, I go back to the code, and then I replace all of these. With the one I just copied. So once I do that, then I copy it. So remember the logo, it's in the UI kit. Go to the source, widget menu, icons, then logo.txt. Then that's how you can change the logo. Yeah. And of course, there are a few other things you can change here. The links, you yeah, where they point to the titles and all that. You can change that from this config here. You can come to the theme, change these colors, you know. So you can do a lot of things, just going through the code and just going through the different parts. You have themes here, you have the base, all the media queries, the shadows that were used, everything here in the theme folder. And here the colors are there, so you can change the colors to something of your own, and all that will reflect and all. So this is the dark mode. You can change all the theme colors here into whatever you want, and that's it, right? And so once you are done doing that, then you have to build. So you have to come to the, once you are done with your changes, you've changed the logo, you've changed the colors, you've changed everything you want to change, then you need to come to your to the toolkit. Yeah, sorry, I had to adjust that so you could see. Come to the toolkit and then just build build the toolkit. Now so if you go through the package file where all the packages are defined for the interface, you realize that the UI kit was the Pancakeswap original UI kit was replaced with the UI kit from this repository, and this is it. So usually what you will have had to do is publish this after you build and you are sure that it builds correctly. Then you publish the UI kit, publish it to npm, and then import it back into this into the front-end project to replace this one, right? But for the sake of this this tutorial, we might not have to do all that, so we just do what npm will have helped you to do. We replace the files manually. But if you are doing this for your own project in future, you will have to replace this old package with your own version of this published UIKit package, right? So that's it. So how do you do this manually? So all these packages are installed in the node module folder, right? In the node module folder of, remember this exchange testnet, that's the front end. So if you come to the node modules, then you go to okay, so you can pronounce it. So go there, then you see the UI kit, then you see a dist folder, dist folder. So what you need to do is go back to your UI kit, the build folder, and copy all the things that are in the dist and replace this one with it. So that's basically what I'll just do now. So just copy this, then come to this folder, the node modules, this, and then replace. So yeah, replace the files in the folder. Okay, let me, so you can see the path. Yeah, so that's it. All right. Once you do that, then you just need to come back to your front end and rerun that. Stop it, Control C, then just run that again. Yeah, and here we are. You can see the logo has been changed, replaced with the new logo that I used. if you look towards the top, you can see that the logo has changed. So that's how you change the logo, and you could follow the same process to change the background images, the colors, even the text, and all that. Right. So that's for changing the look and the feel. But then you still, this works, but it is currently pointing to Pancakeswap's router and their factory. So except you want to use their router and their factory, you still need to change the router and the factory. So there are a couple of steps we need to take if we need to change the router and the factory. So we go back to our interface, then you go to the constants folder in the source folder, then over there go to the index file, you see the router address. So you need to replace this router address with the router address that you just deployed from your clone smart contract. Depending on if you deployed another token of your own, you can replace all this. You can replace this with your own exchange token, right? You can leave some of this. Depending on where you're deploying to, you can change the chain ID also. So if you notice the chain ID, the token, wet, all these are declared in the SDK, which is the other project that we imported, that we cloned. So here you have all this, a lot of other things here. So okay, now go to the constants file, and you can see the mainnet and the testnet. So the chain ID here is 56 and 97, which is the mainnet of the Binance Smart Chain, and then the testnet. So if you are deploying to another chain, then you will need to update this. The factory address will also need to be replaced with the new factory address, and then your init code hash will also need to be replaced. And once you do all of that, you can decide, you build the SDK, rebuild the SDK, and then you can manually go back to replace the dist folder for the SDK in the node modules of the interface also. I hope that's clear. So let me take that again just to clarify. You come to the SDK, go to the constants file, then you can change some of this as it pertains to you. Init code hash, the factory address. Once you do that, you will need to build the SDK also. So to build the SDK, just open the SDK in your command line and do a yarn build also. You can always check what commands are possible from the package.json. So there you can say build. So you can build it. Once you build it, you are going to get this dist folder. So just copy that, go back to your interface, look for the SDK. Very similar to what we just did earlier. This is the SDK, and then replace this dist folder with a new one, with a new build folder. And basically that's it. That's how you clone, that's how you change everything that you change, that you need to change. Remember, you need to change the factory address, the init code hash in the SDK, and then in the interface itself, you needed to have changed, that's the interface. In the interface itself, you needed to have changed the router. Where's this? Okay, here. So you needed to have changed this router address to your own router address. Then you can change a few other things as you need to. Right? So a lot of this comes from the SDK. You can change them from the SDK. This token is a list of, it's a class for tokens. Okay. So basically, once you do that, you can build that. I mean, you can build this and then you get your output folder, and I mean, you can build this, just do a yarn build, and you get your output folder, which you can now deploy to your server. Of course, deploying it to your server, it's out of the scope of this tutorial. I'm sure you know how to deploy. You can check other tutorials on how to deploy a React bundle or a React build to the web. So basically that's it. You can have your front end. It's actually quite straightforward and simple. The interesting part and the more difficult part is implementing all the other things. If you are just trying to get the swap and the liquidity, you can use this repository that I showed you. Basically, you'll be able to swap, you'll be able to add liquidity and do all that from this. So and this will work with whether you clone the contracts from Bakerswap or Pancakeswap. Just make sure they were the version 2 of the original Uniswap contract. It will work, and every other thing will stay the same. But then there are other things that you still need to do. You still need to do farming, and maybe you might also consider doing some migration to migrate liquidity from some other exchanges to your own exchange and all that. So those contracts, you can try and go through the source code on Pancakeswap or on Uniswap to have an idea of how they implemented that. So thanks a lot. Thanks for listening. If you start your own exchange using any of my tutorials, please send me some of your coins. I would like that. Remember to click the subscribe button, and remember to share this channel to your friends and to other people that might be interested in learning about crypto. Alright, till next time, see you.